Hello, this is George, and welcome to my first installment of my Pattern Smasher Lab. Um, I was hoping to have more installments by this time, but I spent a lot of time converting my Pattern Smasher 2025 to what I now call Pattern Smasher Turbo. Anybody who has purchased the Pattern Smasher 2025 will get this free upgrade. Basically, I took a binary approach to pattern representation and masking and converted it to a trinary approach. Now, trinary is simply three states. Binary is two states, true or false. Trinary is true, false, or I don't care. So when we were defining patterns or bits of patterns, we could make each component either true or false, and then we can mask it. And it was basically two processes. So I've incorporated the two processes, or I've merged the two processes into one process, and I call it the trinary or ternary approach. But I'm going to create a video on how I did that, and that will be a prequel to this one. But in today's video, I'm going to test popular candlestick patterns with the Pattern Smasher Turbo. You don't need to fully understand how the Pattern Smasher Turbo works. You don't need to understand the underlying code to know what it does. We're just going to utilize it today, and we're going to look at some popular candlestick patterns. We're going to start with the three black crows. If you're not familiar with the three black crows or candlesticks, candlesticks are basically, they look like this. This is a down close. If it's red, it's a down close. If it's an up close, it's green. And you could do it this way if you wanted to, but I like this look a little better. It's a little cleaner for me. But the three black crows is a very famous candlestick pattern, and so a lot of people really believe in candlesticks. I mean, they'll be watching a trade or the markets, and they'll take a trade and they say, "Wow, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have bought there. That was three black crows, so maybe I should get out of this trade." Well, in this video tutorial and with Pattern Smasher Turbo, you can test the efficacy of these candlestick patterns. A lot of people, the candlesticks have been around longer than our U.S. markets have been because they were created in Japan. So a lot of people really believe in these candlesticks, and I believe in them too because I studied them for 4 years. I wrote software on pattern recognition with candlesticks. But I want to go ahead and put that to the side, and let's focus on just these patterns. And I'm going to show you how I also was able to incorporate AI in the form of ChatGPT to help me define some of these patterns. Because if you're not familiar with the exact criteria for three black crows, you'd have to get a book, look it up, program it. But you can just ask AI to do that for you. All you need to do is you need to feed it a template saying, okay, this is how I define patterns in Pattern Smasher Turbo. Can you take the nomenclature or the format and create three black crows for me? And it did. And let me define what the three black crows are. Okay, this is basic. This is the base pattern or the artifact pattern for the black crows. Basically, it's saying as Formula 1, which is Criteria 1, today's close has got to be less than today's open, red bar. Yesterday's close has got to be less than yesterday's open, another red bar. Red and black are interchangeable. Keep that in mind. Three black crows or three red crows. The close of the day before yesterday has got to be less than the open. That bar's open as well. So there you see you've got your three black crow or three red crow. And then additionally, the last part of the pattern of the three black crows is the close of today has got to be less than the close of the prior day. So you got three red bars, and then the last day of that pattern, it's got to be, sorry about that, it's the market's closing, it's got to be less than the prior day's close. So I had AI do that for me, and then I said, in my demonstration, I want to show my audience how we can keep that base pattern intact. Basically, all those criteria must be true, but I want to I want to filter the pattern, because that's one thing I discovered with candlestick patterns. By themselves, they're hit and miss. But if you filter them by using some type of momentum filter or an overbought, oversold oscillator, it can improve their efficacy. So I told it to create two filters for me, and it came up with Formula 5, and that's where today's close has got to be yesterday's close has got to be less than the prior day's close. So basically, you got 4 red bars. The last bar's close is less than the prior bar's close, and then the bar before that close has got to be less than that prior bar's close. So we got basically 2 down closes in a row that's integrated into the pattern. And also, we want to make sure we want to filter based on an RSI reading. If the RSI reading of the closing prices for the last 14 bars are greater than a certain RSI value, we want to avoid oversold territory. Basically, we don't want to sell in oversold. So those are the 2 filters that I want to utilize with the base pattern, the base criteria. So I want all these to always be true, but I want these to either be true, false, or I don't care, or a combination of those 3, hence trinary. So let's jump over to my little worksheet I've got here, and this is on my website, georgepruitt.com. I've got a little tool here. If I want all 6 to be true, then I can represent that as in binary format as this. All ones, right? All ones. This is Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3, Formula 4, Formula 5, Formula 6. In the old 2025 edition, I would call those bits. But now, since we're in the trinary version, which is the turbo version, we've got this here. We've got the turbo mask helper. I want to keep those first 4 bits, let's change the word bit to trit, because if a placeholder can take on 3 different values, it can no longer be called a bit. It's got to be called a trit. Trit for 3, bit for 2. In binary, it could either be true or false. In trinary, it could be true, false, or ignore in this case. So let's go take a look at that again. We want all these to stay on, because we're not going to screw with the structure, the underlying structure of the pattern, or the artifact in this case, the 3 black crows, but we are going to mess with the last 2 trits. So my little helper shows us how we can do that. Okay, I've got 6 criteria, or 6 pattern length, and I want to fix the first 4 bits, and that's important. The bits that are fixed has got to be the first 4 from right to left, So it says, okay, if you want to just monkey around with those last 2 bits, your optimization settings for the ternary number has got to start at 40, it's got to end at 688, and it's got to go on a step by 81. Okay, if you do that, it creates all these different patterns. And let's take a look at this one real quick. Basically, this is saying I want to keep the base 3 black crows intact. They're all ones, and I want the first 2 to be false. I want the filters not to be in overbought or oversold, and I don't want the close to be less than the prior day's close. Close D1 or close 1 less than close 2. I want it to be the opposite. So you get all these, and so you can monkey with those. You can turn them on, and you can turn them true or false, not on or off yet. This right here will turn one of the bits off. When it's a 2, that means ignore. So basically, we're going to say, okay, I want to keep the first 4 trits intact. It's the base pattern, but I want to ignore that Formula 5. What was Formula 5 again? Formula 5 was this here. I want to ignore this. I don't care if that's true, false. I don't care. I just want to ignore it. Take it out of the equation. So basically, if there's a 2 there, it's taking it out of the equation. So we do that, and so all these different permutations, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different permutations where we can monkey with just these leftmost trits. So let's jump into TradeStation. We're going to do the optimization on the 3 black crows, and I'm going to show you how you set that optimization up. We do studies, edit strategies, and I've already got it loaded, of course. The 3 black crows. Day of week analysis, I'm not going to do that. My ternary code, I'm going to optimize that, and I got to follow the rules so I can make sure I get the trinary number accurate. So I need to go back over to my calculator, which is on my website, and make sure I go from 40 to 688 by 81. So let's go back over and look at that. 40 to 688 by 81. As you know, I've done this. I'm going to say yes. I want to go short because this is a bearish pattern. My exit bars, let's optimize that. How many days do I want to hold on to the trade? Let's go from 2 to 6. Profit target, let's optimize that. Let's jump to keep things quicker. Let's do 1500. So it'd be 20, 35, 40, 35. Yep, that'll work. No, it won't. 35 would be 5,000. So we need to go 35, 5, 6,500. And we want to do a stop loss of, let's go 2,000 to 4,000 by 500. Something a little different here. Okay. The RSI value we're going to keep at, we don't want to be oversold. So let's just put 50 there. We don't want to be oversold. Yeah, we shouldn't. Let's do 40. That's a good number. That's not terribly oversold. Let's optimize it. It's going to be 900. Let's do that real quick. Should take less than a minute, I would think. Okay, we're at 43 seconds. I'll come back to you. I won't make you sit there and watch that. Okay, I'm back with you. We're about 20 seconds to go. As you can tell, the numbers aren't crazy great. They're $22,765. The ternary code is 202. The exit bars are 5. The profit target is only $2,000. Stop loss amount is $2,500. It's probably going to end there unless something really jumps up at the very end. And so you're saying, well, George, those numbers aren't very good. And think about it. I'm testing on the, I think I forgot to tell you, I'm testing on the mini Dow. So anything that sells short during this last 10 years or so, and I think it is for 10 years. Let's see. Let's go to data, edit symbol. We are going back 10 years. So anything is going to look that's positive should have, you should drill down a little bit further on it if you can get something positive. And so we can look at the numbers here. So let's see what was the best results. Okay, the best results were 22,000 with a $19,000 drawdown. If you go with the TS index, 53 was the best one. Average trade was 303. I was able to get better numbers over a different search space, but these numbers aren't terrible. I mean, the TS index is only 53. It doesn't trade an awful lot, 75 times. But let's look at what ternary code 202 is doing. So let's go back to my my cool little calculator here, and let's go back up to the top there, and we can do a drop down to ternary, and it's 202, and the length of the pattern is 6. So we're going to update that. So basically what we're doing is at 202 we're saying, okay, we're going to keep the first 4 bits intact, which is the base structure of the black crows. I'm going to basically ignore that close of 1 less than close 2, and I want the RSI to be false. So let's take a look at that with the language again, with the easy language. Basically, these are all true. I don't care about Formula 5, and Formula 6 has got to be actually less than 40, which basically is saying it does want to be somewhat in an oversold territory, which is kind of different than what we would expect. And that's the beauty of when you analyze these patterns. Sometimes you get things that are totally different than you expect. So let's go back and look at the numbers again. Since it does like the concept of that RSI, you could optimize that number, and we might do that. Maybe not in this video, but maybe you should do that because you'll get all this code when you get the PatternSmasher 2020 Turbo version. But what was interesting, I noticed, was, wow, this thing lost a lot of money on a certain pattern number. And the average trade was, gosh, it was down to $799 with 120 trades. You're saying, wow, that's pretty incredible. That is very incredible loss with a huge average trade loss. So this isn't a commission slippage thing, and there's no commission slippage. I should have provided that information up front too. So what if we do this? Let's add this to the chart, and we're going to do apply test chart. Let's go ahead and look at the equity curve, which we know is not going to be nice, right? It's going to be totally different than we expect. What if we flip that over? What if we buy? I mean, it still has a substantial drawdown if you're short. So why don't we say, okay, well, maybe the three black crows, because of the market regime that we're currently in, maybe it's a bullish pattern, you know? Maybe we shouldn't believe what we've read about the three black crows, especially when we're in this particular market regime. And we could test that as a filter as well. And that's the beauty of PatternSmasher Turbo. So what I want to do is I want to optimize. Let's do this this is for laughs and giggles. Let's go ahead and edit the strategy. And I'm going to optimize three black crows, but instead of going short, I'm going to go long. And why not? Let's just do this. Let's just do the ternary patterns from 46.8 to 40, from 40 to 680 by 81, exit bars, profit target, and let's do the RSI value. I'm not too worried about that. I mean, let's go ahead and put -1 here. Well, let's do a full optimization. What the heck? On the short side. I'm sorry, on the long side, because we're flipping the idea over. So go back to 1. Sorry about that. Let's just see what happens. Let's optimize it. We should get some pretty decent numbers, I would think. And you can see we're already jumping up beyond the. We're at 33,000 right now, right off the bat. 42,000, right off the bat. 43,000, and that's because of what we saw when we tried to evaluate the three black crows when we sold short. We're up to 61,000 right now. Basically, we're taking the idea and we're flipping it over. This is going to be done in just a matter of moments. We should get around that high number, $80,000 to $90,000. And it looks like we're going to hit that 97,000. Wow, $97,000. But again, we're buying into a bull market, which is heavily biased. But this is intriguing, isn't it? Flipping the three black crows over produced these numbers. Let's look at the equity curve first. That's not a bad looking equity curve. I mean, it has a pretty steep drawdown. You know, you have a $65,000 to $35,000 drawdown. If you go over here to detailed, and that's probably during the that's 2021 to 2022. I don't know what the market was doing there in that time period. That's post-pandemic, so that's kind of interesting. So let's go over and look at the settings that was picked for this particular test, and it came up with the ternary code or the trinary code. You can call this trinary or ternary, whatever you want to do, of 688. So what is 688? Well, let's look at the 688, the ternary code. Let's update it. And basically, this is saying to only pay attention to the base three black crows criteria. Ignore the filtering. Ignore the filtering. Just buy when this situation happens. And think about that. That's a strong mean reversion approach. You're buying on a 3 black crows. So if the market's performing well on that pattern, then that basically tells you that you're still in, and we may be changing. This is March of 2026. We may be changing currently the regime, but we are still in a very strong mean reversion regime. So that's the pattern smasher. And let's go over some other codes that I had the AI create for me as well. I had it do the evening star. It coded this for me with the filters. In this case, you had 4 criteria. We also have the RSI, and then we had the MACD for momentum that was added to it. So let's take a look at that one. Is that one buying or selling short? Let's see. We can look at the code we can look at the charts. So let's kill this. That was an interesting analysis of the 3 black crows. And let's see what we have here. We have, edit these strategies here. I have 3 white soldiers. Now you're thinking, okay, well, 3 white soldiers, since we're buying after a strong up move, we should have some really good numbers there. So let's take a look at the performance numbers. Yeah, it looks okay. You know, that's saying you're buying on strength, right? So that basically tells you that buying on a reversion is better off, because the best you could come up with was 30 some odd thousand dollars, 40 some thousand dollars, and the settings were Ternary code 688 in this case. I'm holding on to the exit bars for 3 days. I did a profit target of 5,500, a stop loss of 4,000. See, that was requiring a $4,000 stop. So just buying on strength in a trending bull market is not always the best. And it basically, the candlesticks tells us that. So let's see what this one is. This is the evening star, which is another bearish, supposedly a bearish indicator. So let's look at the equity curve on this one. Ah, that one's actually pretty decent for selling short the YM. Okay, so what were the settings for that? Let's look at the ternary code. It's 688. And what was 688 again? Let's take a look at this. It is basically take the core structure of the pattern, ignore the filtering. Interesting. Let's take a look at this chart, going below it. Performance graph. That's kind of interesting. I'm not sure what that is. Let's see. 21,000. Let's edit the strategies. And that is the dark cloud. This time the 607 was important. Exit bar 6, profit objective 6,000, 2,500. What is ternary code 607? Basically, 607 says, take a look, utilize that one filter as formula 5, but ignore the filter 6. So that was, what was the name of that? That one is called dark cloud. Let's take a look at the code for dark cloud. May not have that open. Let's open it. Sorry. Name pattern smasher. Should be PAT. Sorry about this. I'm not sure why it's, oh, because it's going backwards. Sorry. Go to P now. Dark cloud, open. And these, again, these formulas were derived using AI after I gave it the structure that I needed it, the formula to be in. Basically, This is the dark cloud cover using the RSI and using a high greater than the prior day's high. Okay. Optional blow off filter. So that's dark cloud cover, and I think I got one more. Let's take a look at that. That one wasn't too impressive. Let's take a look at this one here. Cancel. Close that out. And let's take a look at this one. Come on, TradeStation. Get late in the day, I know. This is another example of TradeStation. There it goes. That's not too bad. Doesn't trade very often. What were the settings of this? The name of this system is Bear Engulf, okay? And it is ternary code 283. So let's see what 283 is. .283 is basically the base structure is intact. Filter 5 or formula 5 is false, and filter 6 is true. So let's look at the code of that real quick. That's engulfing. So let's go here real quick. Start with this because I don't know if I have that open. File open. Pattern Smasher. Bear engulf. Open. Basically, it was Formula 5 was an RSI reading, and Formula 6 was a range expansion filter. So AI created all these different formula, and you can go up to 8 formulas. You can do these 8 formula. You can add filters. You can add more criteria to your base pattern if you like. So that was the purpose of this video and this lab, was to maintain the structure, the base structure of the candlestick pattern, and then let's rotate the 2 leftmost patterns, or trits in this case, to create see if these basic patterns need filtering. So we got a mixed bag here. We discovered that some needed filtering, but again, some of the patterns didn't work the way we intended them to work because we are testing on at YM, and I did that on purpose. I wanted to see if we could come up with some of these more popular bearish candlestick patterns to see if we could make some money, and we were able to make some money. The one interesting one was the mean reversion approach of the 3 black crows. We flipped that upside down because the numbers weren't that great, but they were big losers and the big average losing trade. That's when you know you can flip a system over. So that is the end of this lab 1. I hope you enjoyed it. And if it's March of 2026, make sure that you get the Pi Day special. You get this tool, the Turbo. You get the TS Portfolio Merge, and you get the TS Paramscape, which you ought to see that incorporated. And that might be my next lab, is incorporating TS Paramscape to the analysis of these candlestick patterns. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and like I said, check them out on my website. I think I've got it, so you can buy the PatternSmasher Turbo by itself if you want to. But keep in mind, I have not developed the literature. So basically, you're getting PatternSmasher 2025, and then you're getting a sneak peek at PatternSmasher Turbo. You're getting all the logic, everything you need to utilize it. I just haven't updated the manual as of yet. So I appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.